Welcome and welcome back, folks. So in this tutorial we are going to be making and recreating that faithful FIFA 17 loading animation. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Rewind. Nope, don't rewind then. Let's just press play. It'll loop. So this is the FIFA 17 loading animation that I'm sure you've probably noticed. The bottom, usually the bottom right hand side of the screen, whenever it's loading, it'll usually play this, just to reassure you that that the game has not crashed and it is just doing its thing. So this is going to be a two-part tutorial. The first part will be making it and putting it all together in Photoshop, and then the second part animating it in After Effects. So let's not waste, let's get straight to the action. So in Photoshop we're going to create a new scene. And I'm just going to work 1920, not HD, 1200 by 1200. You want to make sure you're setting pixels. If you set it centimeters like it sometimes defaults to, that is going to be huge. So let's hit OK, and we should get a nice square. Cool, that's our square. This should be a sufficient size. The loading icon is usually pretty small, and just like say, slots right in the usually the bottom right corner or the bottom of the screen. So I do like this. I think it's really nice. I think the way it sort of goes in and out like Venetian blinds looks really good. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cheat by taking a print screen. Press the print screen button on your thing and go into Photoshop and paste that in. Scale up so it's nice and big and all in the right places. So to do this, if you haven't used Photoshop before, you're not that au fait, I'm just using the transform tools, and you can grab those by holding Control and pressing T. Control T. And let's have a look, see if it's relatively central. Awesome. You know what, so to zoom out as well, hold Alt and roll your wheel down. You can zoom out like that. Control T again to scale and bring this whole thing up a bit more. Actually, I want it to be nice and big. The beautiful thing is, because we're going to be making this in vector later on, in shapes, we'll be able to scale it as much as we want then. So yeah, Alt and scroll, or if you'd like to, and I recommend switching your workspace for something other than like the default. You can do it over here, and I'm set to painting. What I like about this is I've just got my layers down here, and I have this over here where I can zoom in, zoom out, shake it all about, and I'm good to go. So before I start though, I want to set up some rulers. So in my first test of making this, there's a couple of errors around. You can kind of see where things aren't very smooth. I'll do a slightly better job this time. So I'm going to hold Control and press R, and this will bring up my measurement grid. And all I've got to do, making sure I've got my arrow, is pull down from the top, and I can set some lines. So I'm going to set one here, where the top of my shape is going to go. Set one there, and then one at the bottom. Oops, what did I do? Never mind. Let's quickly adjust this. Put it down a bit more. Yeah, that'll do. Set some from the side in a similar way. Just click and drag. Now, what it doesn't like you to do is you can't do diagonal, which is a shame because it would be nice to have some diagonal lines for this. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually just going to use my line tool down here. It'll be preset to rectangle, click into it, and grab lines. Make sure your colour is a nice bright bluish, similar to our other grids. Consistency, and let's throw this down. Let's loosely try and. Why is it done that? Okay. I think my mouse has been a bit unresponsive right now. But we'll get there. I'm confident. And I'm just going to hold control. Stop it! Stop it! And stop letting go. You're in the right place. You know, forget you. Forget you. And I'm just going to duplicate that. So I'm going to use my arrows over here. And while holding Alt, you'll see your mouse will change. Hold up and drag that right, so we can get the right hand side set up as well. Stupid mouse, behave. Cool. So now I have those, and with that done, I can now drop the opacity on this as well. I've just noticed that these haven't come through because it's put a stroke on them, so they look black. Alright, that's fine. We'll just set you to the same blue. You know, actually, they're probably better black, because you can see it stands out a lot more. Leave that black then. And I'm going to just merge those. So highlight them both, right click, and merge shapes. Cool, I am about ready to go. About 50%, that way I can see my blue lines and my black lines. So this is going to be hopefully a relatively straightforward process, but a repetitive process. So if we go back, what you can note is the whole thing breaks down into lots of little shapes, almost rectangles for the most part. Most of them are going to be rectangles. And in my rendition, I didn't actually use as many rectangles as FIFA used in theirs. They used a couple more, but you know, it looks nice with more, but ultimately it's not a deal breaker. So I'm going to create a new layer by pressing this create new layer button down here, and we see I have a new layer. And I'm going to start creating my shapes. To create my rectangles, I'm going to be using the pen tool. I'm going to be using the pen tool. And top, you want to make sure you're set to shape and not path, because we don't want paths for now. We want shapes. So let me pull the opacity actually all the way back up on this, because I want to grab that color. Awesome. Now I've got that FIFA yellow, so the tan yellow. I'm going to drop the opacity again, so I'll be able to see my own shape when I put it over. Cool. Alright, ready to start. So I'm going to zoom in a lot for this just to make it easier on myself. And all you do when using the shape tool is you just click to put points down and around. And when you're done with your shape, come back to your first point, you'll see it turns into a circle, and your shape is complete. When you're in there as well, you're not done, you're not committed to that. You can change things around. Like if you don't like where this point is, you can just control click, pull it down, move it around. You can hold Alt, and this will change it to like a V, and this gives you nice curvy arms as well. And can you create nice, interesting shapes? It's a nice tool to work with, especially like I mentioned earlier, that is vector based and not initially rasterized. that means you can scale it up, and because it sort of works on a core system like mathematics rather than memory of the position of the colours, it won't lose its quality. But anyway, I don't want this to look like this, so I'm going to go all the way back with my Control Alt Z. My two first points are good, and let me find my second point. I should probably have a mouse map for this, and I'm going to call that my first shape. So it's got a stroke in there. I don't want a stroke in there. Let me get rid of that. Cool. That is shape 1. I'm ready to shape 2. For now, I'm just going to leave a small gap between them. I'm going to tidy that up later, just so I can sort of see where I've been and where I'm going. Oh my god, stop creating D. So if you press and hold as you're putting your point down, you see it's creating my curved aspect that I want. I'm going to go down to about here for this one. Come back round. And close off my shape. Get rid of this again. And this time I'm going to make sure my stroke is off before I start. Excellent. Let's zoom out, see if we've got any mistakes. Nope. That looks good enough to me. Good enough to me. So before we move on, what I want to do is I want to take all these shapes, I'm going to highlight them with Shift, and I'm going to put them in a folder. So call it Group 1. Just double click it and just name it 1. So I know. Don't need you background. And soon I won't need the rest of you. Excellent. So now we are ready to start working on our 7. Same process again, like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit of a repetitive one. So get yourself in a comfortable place where you don't mind so much. Alright then. So let me group these shapes together. So I'm just going to group these shapes together by hitting the folder button. Double click to rename. Call it 7. So we've got everything in 1, everything in 7, which means we don't need these anymore, so we can delete those, and we're ready to take this across into After Effects. So join me again next time, and I will show you how to assemble these and get the effects going that we want, which is this. Cool. See you soon, guys.